My guest is a new breed Ghanaian entrepreneur at the helm of a mobile technology company. Right after university, along with a few friends, they set up a business to provide electronic payment platforms for customers. How have they done it? And how can others follow in their footsteps? Back in a moment. Alex Bram, thank you for coming on Time with David.
David, thank you so much. It's a joy to have you back, and it's a dream come true to meet you in person.
That is wonderful. Thank you. Very kind of you. I know that you are in many ways a trailblazer, and I'm not going to allow you to pretend that you're not. So you just tell me, how and in what sense do you think we are accurate to describe you, Alex, as a trailblazer?
Well, that's, putting me above with some of the legends, entrepreneurial legends that we've had in this country, and there's been several. But I think what makes us special is perhaps our story, because 2003, myself and my roommate and a former colleague of ours, Leslie, so the three of us, Ernest, myself, and Leslie, we chanced on the idea of bulk SMS. This has just started.
Bulk SMS.
Bulk SMS.
Okay.
The first time I got a text message, I just thought, this should be for business, not for peer-to-peer.
Wow.
The light bulb just went off. But we were in school. So 2004 came.
School where?
Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
Okay.
2004 came, nobody did the idea. I said, okay, what's going on? 2005 came, nobody did. And we're ready to get out of school. So on our last day of school, I told Ernest, are you ready for us to do this? And he said, I'm ready as you are. We hit town.
To do what?
To start the business.
A business that does what?
That provides bulk SMS messaging for businesses. Instead of having bulk SMS or SMS as a peer-to-peer,
yes,
we figured insurance companies should be using it, banks should be
using it. To reach a wider database.
Should be using
and that didn't exist?
It didn't exist then. So we chanced on it. We came to Accra. We found no businesses, and almost nobody was doing it. And it was ideal for us because it was a business just dying for organization, a little organization. It didn't require a lot of capital because you would go to a customer to say, I have this, can you use it? And they'll pay you, and then you go,
wow,
you'd go execute the service.
There was a demand for it.
Yes, there was a fair bit of demand, but we had to organize the market.
Yes.
We had to first of all go to small businesses. So we started with travel and tour. Yeah. We started with a few small shops. We would go to cafe to pick their numbers, get home, back-breaking job. We'll be entering the phone numbers. That's how we built our first database of customers. And then we expanded it to bring on banks. That was the first time we launched transactional alerts in Ghana, and now it's everywhere. You go to it. It's almost standard that you do a transaction, or a transaction happens in your account, and you get an SMS.
You have competition now?
Several, but
so you no longer dominate the space. Typically, that always happens, right? Do you know why? Because I want us to talk about innovation and entrepreneurship. And even though I know that we use both together, a lot of times I think that to be an innovative entrepreneur is something else, or to innovate as an entrepreneur is really the core thing. Ultimately, because I mean, you bring it into being, but you have to sustain it.
Correct. And you see, the thing with innovation is, it often starts with a problem, then an idea to the problem, and then you go through the cycle. What we find here is every time people find a way to fix a problem, others come in. It's natural. It's everywhere.
Yes.
People will come in to try to profit from the idea. So you have to, as you build the idea, build the defense mechanisms against it for you to, and you also have to once in a while remove the clothes of success and change. So along the line, we upgraded our platform to do a lot more for businesses.
So the defense mechanism is to do new things in a sense. Am I correct?
You have to follow the customer and make sure that you are attending to the customer's needs, even as the needs is evolving.
We always talk about attending to customers' needs. I mean, I don't know, clear you haven't you? Because you have a successful business, I presume. Am I right to assume that having a successful business means that you are addressing a big part of it is that you're providing customers with a solution.
You're right on that. By
Ghana
Ghana
price?
standards,
Doesn't the price matter?
Well, price does, and we do get ourselves involved in price wars. But I think if you have to get yourself in a price war with your customers very often, then there's a fundamental problem with, and we do that at Haptel a lot. Every time we get ourselves in a space where we have to argue with customers over a price, it means that our value is questionable, and we have to look at our value and build on top of that value, something that customers will find more valuable using.
Don't you think that part of the reason that you are in such a unique position, you guys attracted right from the beginning significant amount of money, like something like $25 million?
Yes, that was a valuation we had in 2014.
Is this not just a function of the fact that it was all in a new medium area? You know, I'm just saying, can these things happen also for people who go into, say, agriculture or go into, you know, the more traditional business openings?
Well, yes, but if you looked at that valuation that we received in 2014, I mean, you have to consider our net income, the growth of the business.
So the future profit stream, more or less.
Future profit stream. And then the prospects, the future prospects for
Correct.
it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look as promising for some other industry. But then again, it comes back to that same innovation.
Yes.
It's how an entrepreneur organizes, you know, the solution towards the problem.
Okay, so let's...
That would, you know, sort of put that business in a particular line for investors to see its value or future value.
Okay, we talk about innovation a lot, Alex. I want you to have us understand it by giving me an example over the life of your business, a time where you considered yourself to have been at the height of innovation, and whatever it is that was that you think gave you a lease, an additional lease.
That's
innovation.
Because
we use it all the time.
We use it all the time,
Yeah,
but
so
it's
what is
something
it?
that has to be part of the culture of a business.
Yeah.
So for us, we have sort of fought through the years to ensure that we never lose it as a company. So at Haptel, a lot of the things we do is to ensure that our team is, you know, they have the freedom of mind to execute what needs to be done on a daily basis.
How do you guarantee that? You just
First of all, through the culture. It has to be part of the culture. It starts with, obviously, the founders. Yeah. Whatever gets you to start, you need to be able to find a way to translate it into the business and have the business live that life.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, some entrepreneurs, it's very hard.
It's not easy.
It gets to a time you could just forget. Circumstances will make you forget. But it's something that we have tried to maintain in our culture. We lose it once in a while, but we're always able to pick ourselves up.
But you've been the same 3 or 4 guys or 3 guys that started it from school are still together?
Yes, we're still the same shareholders in the business.
And it's owned by you guys?
Yes.
How have you managed to stay together for so long?
I think we've kept our transparency amongst ourselves. One of the first things we were able to do when we started the business was to set some ground rules. For example, we're going to dress in a shirt and a tie every day and pretend we have work. So the
culture, beginnings, these are the beginnings of the culture
that you
describe.
These you don't have to lose.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Even when we didn't have any meetings, nobody wanted to even see us, we had nothing to do, we'll still assemble at my dad's dining area. You'd see Ernest in shed, Leslie in shed. We'll show up at 8 o'clock.
I love you guys.
Pretend to work.
Pretend to be at the height of some office work.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we have always tried to behave as a big company. Yeah. And we still, it's a culture that we have imbibed in it once, because work is sacred. I mean,
but you are the same person who says that a company doesn't have to be big, it just has to be well run.
Exactly, so, and that's the thing too. It's very true. A company doesn't have to be,
because you say you set out to behave as a big. I guess at that point, that's how you looked at it.
That's how we did. But a company, it's something we believe in seriously. We don't have to chase to be big, or we don't have to live our professional lives to want to become big, because there is some big is relative.
Yes, indeed.
So you have to always pursue that you're a well-run business, because sometimes you can chase bigness, you might overspend, you might take certain decisions, and then everything will come crashing down on
your
you.
business is what, about 12 years old now?
We're 14 years
14
now.
years old, and you have how many employees?
There's 89 of us.
There's 89 of you.
In Ghana, we've got a team of 13 in Kenya.
In Kenya. So you're in Ghana and you're in Kenya.
Yes.
You're a Ghanaian company.
We're a Ghanaian company.
You're a growing Ghanaian multinational.
Yes, we're
You
trying
look to go
so
beyond Kenya and all that, do you?
absolutely, but we're not in a hurry. We're not in a hurry to enter as many African countries.
Yes, but whatever you do, whatever you do, will you take others with you?
Yes.
And I want you to really think about that, because that, I think, is the core thing that happens. That's why I ask you that you see foreign multinationals enter. When they come, they just seem to always be bringing some other company that they know from whence they came.
Correct.
That's why I ask you,
Yeah.
can you do that too? Will you take others with you over time?
Yes, over the 40 years, we have employed over 2,000 people that have worked in our company in various positions.
Yeah.
Some have left, many have stayed
Yeah.
And I mean, the impact alone to the industry, for people to see, the challenges, the problems. I think there's something that it will do to the psyche of the market. There are several other companies like us doing same, employing people and growing the industry and doing the things that are right. That in itself is carrying people. When we're expanding, our expansion strategy is to use local. So in Kenya, it's not a Ghanaian heading it. Right. We have a full Kenya team. The MD in Kenya is Kenyan.
Right.
All of the team is Kenyan.
Yes.
We do check in once in a while.
Yes.
But we're very careful about that because of the kind of culture we want to maintain in the business.
Because that's very important, isn't it?
It is.
The culture.
It is very important. Culture. It's very important.
Yeah. What do you think? What would you say to young people that are looking for jobs? I mean, there is also an argument to be made that there's definitely something wrong with the system where people go to university and finish and then want the government to give them a job.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you would have thought that through the process of education, they had been empowered so they could themselves, observe a gap in the market and get on with it the way you did. But your kind of case is rare. There are many, I'm sure, that would have started like you, but 90% will fall by the wayside. So what would you say to them? Because the more of young people like you we have doing good, the better for the country and the continent.
Yeah.
What would you say to people, to your peers, to young people who want us to get into business or who want a government job or who just need to get on also? It's
an unfortunate situation, and it's a problem that is global. I don't think it's peculiar only to Ghana.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're just all finding out that the education system is set for another time, the industrial age. That we can't all just go to school to learn and put people en masse in classes and then pass them out and then say, okay, tough luck, you're on your own.
Yeah.
I mean, I always use University of Ghana as an example. They churn out thousands of political scientists every year. We don't need that many political scientists in Ghana. And that's the sad truth. So if we keep turning out people that are not connected to the future and what the future would look like, that's exactly the problem we're going to have. But regardless of the problem, we have to take it on and try to look at ways to fix it. What I would say is the thing: innovation thrives everywhere. It is everywhere. It doesn't take much to start something. I know it is very tough. I have lived it.
Yeah.
We lived through it by laughing through it. We laughed through it. We laughed at ourselves. We didn't take ourselves serious, but we took our work serious. It is going to take a lot for us to thrive, to bring up, entrepreneurship. Some people have said, okay, let's teach it in schools. Well, unfortunately, it can be taught. You can teach it, but it's not something that you get the results from. It needs to be learned. If the person doesn't want to learn it, it's not. Your teaching is not going to get far. But it is a big problem.
I like that. If you don't want to learn, the teacher won't get far. Indeed.
It's a big problem that we've got to tackle. I think the way to tackle is to change the education system.
Okay.
We need to change
But
what
you
we're
are
teaching.
a product of that same education system.
Yes,
What did
and-
you study? How come you ended up going the way you've gone?
I studied chemistry, Ernest did biological science.
Yeah, you take chemistry and biology, and now look at what you're doing.
We
So
spent the whole time in uni questioning the system. So fortunately for me, I went to uni. I was a reject from the medical school. I went to uni with a purpose that I have 4 years to figure out what I was going to do with myself after school.
But that's the point that's what I'm trying to make. I mean, even though really what you did was chemistry, you see where you end up. So you agree the university sort of provides you with just some way of thinking.
Absolutely. And
opens
the
up
university prepares you socially. It gives you the exposure.
Yeah.
It gives you the ability to learn new things. So one of the things I told myself is, okay, I'm armed with the tools now to learn anything I want to learn, because I've been through a system that has taught me how to learn and how to make changes that I want to make. So I read a lot.
But many of Ghana's, old good entrepreneurs were not really necessarily university graduates, I mean, all the cool businessmen in this country of the past were not necessarily products of...
And the sad thing is we're not documenting what they did, which I find it's a very big missing piece.
Yes.
We don't know the people that imported certain things into
Yeah.
Ghana. What are the challenges? We don't know why some businesses failed, some big businesses of the past. Nobody is documenting it. If you go to our business schools in Ghana, there are no stories about these entrepreneurs. But these are the shoulders, the shoulders on which new entrepreneurs will stand on to thrive. There are mistakes that we have made that years after. So recently we had a situation and they had to end in court. And we meet some old people like, oh, you are now learning of this. And I was like, we have made the same mistake on something that we didn't have to.
Absolutely.
At business school at Stanford, all we read was business cases. Americans do very, very well documenting their successes and their failures.
It's part of the learning process.
Exactly. So the students can stand on that and not make certain mistakes and grow, because it's a cycle.
And you say we don't do enough of that?
We don't at all. We don't. I mean, there are several businesses I would love to know about, and I would love to meet. Occasionally, I get very lucky and I meet some of the good old entrepreneurs. They share a few stories, but we need to document these stories and teach them in our schools. And I think that is the way that we'll be able to drive a new wave.
Could that be a business idea?
It could be.
I mean,
it is for the...
Maybe somebody should, because if we go by what you said, businesses, then we can end on that note. Someone's got to figure out how to document the experience of business. It's such a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
a lot. Thanks for having me.